Well, I think there were some mistakes made. The law of the country allows for free movement of goods, people, and you can go in any part of the country. But I think with the case of the Balaalo, it is different. First of all, we do not have a uniform or a legal definition of who is a mulalo. And I think this is creating a lot of problems for the country. Two, I think at some point our borders were porous. Some people managed to come into the country using the porous borders. And when you reflect carefully on our different tenures of land ownership, you find that some people who are not Ugandans are not allowed to own land. They can lease, they can rent, they can do this. So there is a need to be patient and have a proper assessment of this current situation. I saw the letter from the president. I think in one way or the other he has been deceptive in that letter. He was not honest. He knows perfectly because these Balaalo are escorted. In fact, the transportation of their cows are transported at the night, escorted by army officers who commands the army in this Uganda. It is the commander-in-chief who is the president. So I think the political pressures of 2026 has gotten into his head and he's trying to manage it. But after 2026, I think things will be much different. So I caution that given that this Balaalo situation is not only unique to northern Uganda, we have had this situation, I think, in Bulisa. We have also had it in Teso. There is need at some point for stakeholders to sit together and sort out this matter once for all, because it's a time bomb. If unattended to or addressed in a way which is deceptive, like it is being done now, I think at one point in the future we'll wake up to very sad news.
Do you think what is going to come out of this? Is it going to remain on them?
I have seen a number of trucks leaving northern Uganda, so there is some level of compliance. But I also think that they are a group which are stubborn, a group that is being protected by the state apparatus. And I want to see what actions the commander-in-chief is going to take to show that he's in control. You see, a commander-in-chief does not just stop in writing letters. You issue orders, and those orders must be effected. But the president, every time he writes, he appears to be in a mood where he feels threatened, as if he's not in charge, as if he's not in command. That's the question. And I have seen about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when he issued the order, I saw his chief of defense forces also issuing another order. And I was wondering, do we have two command centers of the army? What is happening? These are matters that must be addressed.
And we are seeing some people threatening that the president is about to commit crimes against humanity by displacing people, forcing people to migrate from one area to another. What do you make of this?
No, I think that for all intent and purposes, the use of the word crime against humanity is misplaced. Even if there was mass eviction of those Balaalos, it wouldn't amount to that. And secondly, they have recourse to the law. We have seen many evictions here, I think in is it called Losanja? We have seen it is not any different from all these evictions that we see in the country. Once you have a claim to a property and your rights to own that property is violated, you have recourse to the courts of law. You can even sue government. You can even sue the people who sold for you land to recover that money. So I believe that it can be handled. I don't know to what context. I'm not privy. I've never sat in a meeting where the Chief Justice and the President met. I don't know in what particular context he has misled, because as far as I know, the Chief Justice speaks and adjudicates through cases that are filed before him. I don't know whether the President has sought any legal opinion from him. In that case, I also think the President has a mercenary, the Attorney General and the rest to advise him. It is not the role of the Chief Justice to guide the President. I think they may have quoted them out of context.
And finally, do you think now the Northern Uganda has a chance to this coming election to get what was from the government? Because like the president looks as if it's now very.
No, this government now has, you could say, under 1 year, because by May there will be transition. And I think the narrative that the media and many people in this country miss is to assume that it is the same government that will be in power. No. Everyone is going for an election in 2026. The presidency, the parliamentary elections, the local government, it can go to any of these political parties. So anyone who wants to negotiate right now should be speaking to all political parties or all the presidential aspirants to bargain for post-elections development agenda, which is there. For those who are heavily relying and assuming that one party has advantage, I think they are mistaken.
Okay. And the very final one, what do you think, to what extent is this factor of the Balaalo going to affect the next election in the north?
It is clear that the people who are currently highly affected are the Acholi, and they are not going to vote for anyone who is not supporting the injustice, the land injustice against them. It doesn't matter whether it is the NRM candidate, and I think that's why the aspirant Museveni has tactfully written that letter to try to show that I am with you. Because the rest of the presidential aspirants are also going to go to Acholi and tell them that we stand with you, this is your land, we cannot allow anyone to come and violate. So you will now see from now many pronouncements from all aspirants tending to say Balaalo must leave, Balaalo must go. But I think some of them, we have to treat their words very cautiously, because they are the cause of the Balaalo going there. We gave state power to you to protect our borders, and you allow people to cross from different countries and move throughout Uganda. How can the Balaalo move from one border up to the other one? That's the same way how cattle was raided in the entire northern Uganda, and then it was blamed on a small ethnic section, and yet we had the state, we had the army, we had the police. So we shall not accept that kind of narrative.
These Balaalo foreigners?
They are state sponsored.
Are they foreigners?
They are state sponsored. Yes, we have evidence that a number of them came from Tanzania. You know, Tanzanian government sat and said, please leave. Some other country took a few, but Uganda opened its leg wide and said, please enter as you want. And they have failed to take care of them.
And your final word on this?
No, I think that the government, the state has the responsibility to protect vulnerable people. That's why there is a special law to protect the children against sexual abuse. Northern Uganda is a vulnerable community, a vulnerable population. The government has a cardinal responsibility to protect them in that context. You cannot subject them with the poverty that has gone on in the north, with the violence, with the war that has affected them, to the same standards like other parts of the country.
Thank you so much. The president. What do you have to say about?
I don't know to what context. I'm not privy. I've never sat in a meeting where the Chief Justice and the President met. I don't know in what particular context he has misled, because as far as I know, the Chief Justice speaks and adjudicates through cases that are filed before him. I don't know whether the President has sought any legal opinion from him. In that case, I also think the President has a mercenary, the Attorney General and the rest to advise him. It is not the role of the Chief Justice to guide the President. I think they may have quoted them out of context.
And finally, do you think now the northern Uganda has a chance to use this coming election to get what was from the government? Because like the President looks like it's now very narrow.
No, this government now has, you could say, under 1 year, because by May there will be transition. And I think the narrative that the media and many people in this country miss is to assume that it is the same government that will be in power. No. Everyone is going for an election in 2026. The presidency, the parliamentary elections, the local government, it can go to any of these political parties. So anyone who wants to negotiate right now should be speaking to all political parties or all the presidential aspirants to bargain for post-elections